No, that thumbnail wasn't the messages I got when I decided to leave Instagram. That thumbnail refers to fragrances in my wardrobe that I probably am not going to regret getting rid of. Now, a while back, I did a video on the fragrances that I have bought into my collection this year for 2020 so far. And my conundrum was that my goal at the beginning of the year was to reduce my bottle collection, and that wasn't happening by me buying fragrances. So I did have a think about, I guess, I went through my wardrobe and tried to pick out, so that video, I think when I shot that video, I had added 14 new bottles in 2020. So I decided for this video that I would go through 14 bottles from my wardrobe that I wouldn't miss if I didn't have. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to get rid of any of these bottles. There's a likelihood I may either sell some or might even give some away. Because, look, the whole purpose of my perfume wardrobe is to only have and wear the ones that I really love. And none of these bottles that I have here for this video I dislike. I like them all, but when I sat down and thought about it and wondered if I did not have them anymore, would I miss them? The answer was it came pretty easy. The answer was no. So I'm going to go through them quickly, and we'll just talk about each one for a little bit. Okay, so the first one is the cheapest one in my collection, the one I paid the least amount of money for at the store, and it's from Jovan. This is Sex Appeal. This is my guilty pleasure fragrance, and it's so cheap, and honestly, if I got rid of this and I really did miss it, there'd be no trouble getting another one. It's that inexpensive. So that's number one. And by the way, this is in no particular order. I've just gathered the 14 and I'm going to just pull them out of the box here. The next one might be a surprise to some. It is the Dior Homme Eau de Toilette. This is not the original 2005, it's the black stem. This is a 50ml bottle. Look, I know that this is going to become harder to find now that they've released the new version of Dior Homme, but honestly, as lovely as it is and as groundbreaking as the original one was, you know, Iris is not something I'm particularly enamored of at the moment as a dominant note in the fragrance, and this is one reason why I probably wouldn't miss this one. Next one is from Atkinson's of London. This is 24 Old Bond Street Triple Extract. Again, a very lovely, pleasant fragrance. It's basically a light rose and whiskey, but it's not anything I get particularly excited about wearing, and when I wear it, it's absolutely fine. It's this one I find a kind of in-between scent lately, in that it's perfectly pleasant, but it's so forgettable when I'm not wearing it. You know, sometimes I actually don't remember that I have it until I see it in my cupboard. Next one is probably for the same reasons along the line of Dior Homme. This is D600 from Carnet Barcelona. Now, this one here has more going on than just an iris, but there is vanilla and spicy pepper and cardamom. But again, I have so many cold weather, warmer fragrances that this just doesn't quite get to the level of some of the other ones I've got, and I always feel like passing this over when I look at it, even though it's absolutely lovely when I wear it and it works really well on my skin. But again, it's another instance where it's just doesn't I want fragrances that are going to move me when I wear them. And recently I've had that experience with a couple of, you know, samples, and they made me want to get bottles of those. So I just simply can't afford to keep fragrances like this in my wardrobe anymore. Next one, Pacific Rock Moss from Goldfield and Banks. This is a matter of, I have quite a very limited, freshy summer wardrobe / warm weather, and although it's not as big as my colder weather scents, I've found some really good ones that I like to rotate more often in warmer weather, and this over time has shown itself to be still pleasant smelling, absolutely, but just not quite as interesting as some of the other ones I've got. This one is Bottega Veneta pour Homme. This is the Parfum version. The fact of the matter is I actually prefer the Eau de Toilette, the original Pour Homme Eau de Toilette, even though it has mediocre performance and this lasts a little bit longer, but I prefer the smell of the Eau de Toilette. So this was an impulse buy for me based on one lovely wearing where I really enjoyed it, and then subsequently after that I just have not been into it as much as that first time, so it's kind of redundant for me. Ombre Noir from LALIQUE. Honestly, it's actually quite a good, unique fragrance from LALIQUE and very high quality for the price, but I just have not, as much as I appreciate this perfume and I like it, I've not been able to fall in love with it, and each time I've worn it, I just haven't ever had that moment where I sit down and smell, and I can smell myself and think, wow, this is amazing, and it just hasn't happened. And so it's another one that I won't miss. Sunny Side Up from Juliette Has a Gun. Again, very pleasant. I have good associations with this fragrance, but it's kind of in the same vein as Pacific Rock Moss. It's just not something that is special enough, and in the warm weather there are lots of others that I like to wear. This actually would be something that would be fantastic as a room spray, and I don't mean that in like a negative sense. I would actually like a room to smell like this. Okay, so this one's going to be a bit of a surprise because I've had this for a long time, and it was one of the first niche bottles that I bought. It might have even been the first niche bottle that I bought. It's Tamdao by Diptyque. Now, again, I need to stress, I still like this one very, very much, and I probably will end up keeping this, but if I emptied this tomorrow, which I'm in no danger of doing, I probably will not replace it. It's as simple as that. This one is Tom of Finland by État Libre d'Orange. Geez, I really mangled that. État Libre d'Orange. And this is one I was really, really into in the beginning, and then over subsequent wears, time after time, I've just liked less and less, and I think it's because each time I wear it and smell it, I pick up more of the harsher, screechier notes in this composition, and I don't know why that is. I don't think there's anything wrong with the fragrance, but when I first got this, I loved the suede and the vanilla and even that citrus in the top, and now all of that has kind of receded into the background, and I'm getting just a lot of kind of harsh aroma chemicals about this one. Okay, I know this might be a big surprise, but this is from Serge LUTEN. This is 5 o'clock au gingembre. Now, I want to state categorically, I really enjoy this fragrance, but of all my SERGEs, this isn't my least liked. So when I was doing this exercise, I really had to think about whether I would miss this if I didn't have it, and the answer was no. This is MYRRH and TONKA from Jo Malone, the only Jo Malone I own. I really, really like this, but it's very nice, it's very comforting. I enjoy wearing it, but it is simply just at this point in my fragrance journey, it's a little bit too simplistic for me to absolutely be in love with, and again, another one I wouldn't miss. This one is This Is Him by Zadig and Voltaire. One of the best value fragrances out there. It is chock full of non-natural smelling aroma chemicals, but it somehow works. It's kind of, I like to describe this as a very postmodern scent. It's, you know, just unashamedly synthetic, but somehow it works really well. Obviously lasts a long time. Lemon pepper, grapefruit pepper, incense, smoky vanilla. And I really like this one. I really like this one. And I recommend this to people who are looking for something in a particular price range, who wouldn't mind this note pyramid. But again, it comes down to, do I absolutely love this and could I be without it? And the answer is yes, I could be without it. Okay, finally, this bottle is a bottle that's been in my fragrance wardrobe the longest. So it's I bought this very early on when I started buying bottles. It was at the time the most expensive bottle that I'd purchased. It's from Tom Ford and it's Grey Vetiver. Now, again, this is another one I really, really, really like. I don't love it, and on top of that, I have other vetivers that I just love more. And as an example, one that I actually bought this year, and it's Guerlain's original, the vetiver from Guerlain, EDT. I just find that more interesting as a vetiver fragrance. This one here, I've enjoyed every time I've worn. It has good performance for like a fresh type vetiver scent. If you're into citrus vetivers, definitely have a look. But yes, Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, it wouldn't be missed. Okay, so just one last time, they're the 14 bottles that I would not miss if I didn't have them in my wardrobe at the moment. Some of them will likely be gone in the next little while. Others I might end up keeping. It's really just going to be a matter of how proactive I am in actually getting rid of bottles. But I do sincerely want to reduce my collection. But this was an interesting exercise just to go through my fragrances to see how many I genuinely loved. I mean, I've got over 100 bottles, and there's just no way I can believe that someone can be absolutely in love with 100 bottles. If you're a collector, that's a different thing, but I want to wear my fragrances, and ultimately I only want to wear what I really, really love. I'm a broken record on this, but still I have to balance that idea with the urge to buy, the impulse to get a new bottle, the endorphin rush of opening a new box. I hope everyone is doing really well and found this video interesting. I'd be interested to hear your stories about what you're doing with your collections, your wardrobes, in the comments. And again, thank you for joining me and thank you for watching. Bye bye.